This is the oldest cymbal business in the world. The Avedis Zildjian Company has crafted cymbals for the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, American troops during World War II, and the Beatles.
When you think of the sound of a cymbal, there's a very good chance what you're hearing in your head is a Zildjian cymbal.
For 400 years, the company has been instrumental in the evolution of music, developing the cymbals used in modern drum sets. Today, it's the world's leading cymbal maker.
We're really responsible for the entire modern cymbal industry.
I've been playing these cymbals my whole musical life.
The key to its sound? An alloy-making process the Zildjian family has kept secret for centuries. Craigie Zildjian is continuing her family's legacy as the 14th generation president of the business.
The word Zildjian means son of a cymbal maker.
So how did Zildjian become one of the most influential instrument brands in the world? We travelled to Massachusetts to see how, after 4 centuries, this business is still standing. Behind these doors, craftsmen forge Zildjian's secret alloy from copper, tin, and silver. But not even the man who shapes the cymbals knows the recipe.
I have no idea how they do it. I just know it's the best metal in the world for cymbal making.
1,000 metal castings are made every day. And Alan Levitt sorts and weighs each of them. Even at this early stage, he can hear any issues with the metal.
Well, but listen for the ringtone. Yeah, you can hear it yourself when I hear it. They possess quite the ringtone.
The ones that pass inspection go into the oven to be reheated. This loader can feed up to 240 castings every hour.
We used to have those long rakes that you put the pies into the oven. That's really a strain on their back.
After 30 minutes, the metal is about 900 degrees Fahrenheit and soft enough to be rolled. Once they've cooled, the castings go back into the oven for 30 to 40 minutes. This process of heating and rolling is repeated multiple times until the castings are as thin as a credit card. And it hasn't changed much since at least the 19th century. Next, the cymbals head to the cupping machine, which will shape the bell. The bigger the bell, the more the instrument will project, and the longer it will ring. Joe Pillai has worked in almost every step of production in his 29 years here.
I love working with my hands, and I love music. It's kind of like my way of giving back, you know.
He uses a blanking press to cut the cymbals to the correct size.
All of the extra metal goes into our scrap printer, and it all gets recycled.
Then, it's time for hammering. The first step that really begins to change the sound.
It more or less controls the shape, and it regulates the sound waves going through.
The impact hammer creates dents at precise points and can apply different pressure throughout. The rotary hammer creates a circular pattern with consistent pressure. Both machines affect the pitch and tone. The cymbal gets its signature umbrella shape in the forming press. The deeper the curve, the higher the pitch. Then it's time for Joe's favourite moment: lathing.
Lathing's where the magic really happens, I think. Different type of lathing, different type of sound.
The shaper scrapes off layers of metal as the cymbal spins. It also cuts small tonal grooves in a circular pattern. Deeper and sharper grooves create more sustain, affecting how long the cymbal will ring out. Joe tapers the cymbal down, making the weight even. He has to be careful not to apply too much pressure, or he risks overworking the cymbal and making it too thin.
You're always troubleshooting. I think you're just trying to figure out how to make the cymbal perfect, you know. That's what I love about it.
Finally, he removes any imperfections with a grinder. Then, this machine smooths out the edges. But they aren't ready just yet. Each cymbal needs to be tested. Joe works closely with Guy Licata, the manager of innovation, to test 200 in half an hour.
At this stage, we're just looking really for major visual and sound defects. You know instantly if it's a good cymbal or a bad cymbal. It's when they're questionable that you really dig into it and debate it. Well, this one was overworked. You could see the rippling.
Yeah. Within acceptable ranges between here and here. So this is the standard. Those are almost identical. So this is considered conforming. This would pass.
Each cymbal is then cleaned by hand. And finally, coated with a polyurethane solution.
Mostly to protect against fingerprinting.
Zildjian has sold as many as 1 million cymbals worldwide in a year. They can cost between $90 and $4,000 each. But even with its global success, Zildjian still operates as a family-owned business.
You can go inside.
This room holds some of the earliest Zildjian cymbals made in America.
We call this the family vault. Some of these fingerprints belong to my grandfather or my father and some of the cymbal testers.
Craigie is the 14th generation Zildjian to run the company. She was the first woman to become CEO in 1999. Today, she works as president.
I never thought I would end up in the family business. It was really just for the male members. These are heavy.
A select few cymbals were gifted to some of the world's most famous drummers.
So we gave one of these to Ringo, and we had to do something so it could adapt to his hardware. This is very old looking.
The family's story begins way back in 1618 in the Ottoman Empire, in what is now Istanbul. The company's founder, Avedis I, was an Armenian smith who worked for the Sultan, making cymbals for the military band. While trying to make gold, he discovered a bronze alloy that made the instrument stronger but thinner, with a clearer sound. He founded the company in 1623, and it thrived for centuries. The 12th generation owner, Avedis III, moved to America in the early 1900s. He was Craigie's grandfather.
If he had stayed in Turkey, that was not a good place to be for an Armenian.
The factory officially relocated to Quincy, Massachusetts, just a month before the Great Depression hit in 1929. But as the economic crisis took hold, so did a new style of American music.
It was the beginning of the jazz era, which was here.
Zildjian created cymbals for jazz legends like Gene Krupa, Chick Webb, and Joe Jones. Avedis III worked directly with them to develop new cymbals like the ride, the hi-hat, and the crash. Those gave drummers more range and freedom, and were crucial for the evolution of music.
It became the basis for cymbals as we know them today.
This collaborative tradition continued with Craigie's father in the following decades.
The ideas really just kind of flourished as my dad was there, testing cymbals in front of them. All the top drummers of the day, and we'd gain their input. Louis, Elvin, and Roy. Here's my dad. This was my dad's drum kit. I've left this as it was when he was here, when this was his office.
In the 1940s, the company provided cymbals for American and British troops during World War II. But it was the Beatles' first US performance that made Zildjian a household name. In February 1964, Ringo Starr used the company's cymbals during the band's appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show.
The Beatles, bring 'em on!
The Beatles changed everything. All of a sudden, we were back ordered because everyone wanted to start a band, a garage band.
From there, musicians from all genres were lining up to get one too.
Everything from the band and orchestra world, to marching, to jazz, to rock, to metal, to country, to everything in between.
By the mid-1980s, the company was the world's leading maker of cymbals with 40% of the market share. Today, it's made cymbals for drummers like Questlove, Travis Barker, and Anderson .Paak.
This is my dad here. Yeah. My father always said we need to follow the music. So wherever the music leads us, that's how we track it, is through these musicians.
To this day, the company works closely with musicians to develop custom models tailored to their styles.
Artists are looking to express themselves. They're looking for, sometimes it's a sound, again, sometimes it's a tactile feel or response, sometimes it's an emotion.
It's why drummers like Omar Hakim only use cymbals made by Zildjian.
If I have identified a need for some instruments that I don't have in my arsenal at that moment, 11 times out of 10, they've got the solution. This is one of my favorite cymbals. It's called the K-Custom Hybrid Trash Smash.
He got his first set of Zildjians when he was just 8 and has exclusively used the company's cymbals for nearly 5 decades. Over the years, Omar has worked with artists like David Bowie, Madonna, Michael Jackson, and Miles Davis.
It's important to have a set of cymbals that resonates with the music that you're trying to create, speaks to you as a musician. When you blend the metal and the skins and the wood, and you create this tonal palette to kind of cover a full spectrum of sound.
Omar says, although other cymbal companies have popped up, Zildjian still sets the standard.
Even the old ones are the bar. And that's heavy when the entire industry is using your product as the example of what needs to be in the marketplace.
The next generation of Zildjians is already working to continue the family legacy.
Gen 15, they're all board members. Each generation is charged with revitalizing the business and adding something to it.
Craigie says that as long as music lives on, so will Zildjian.
There will always be music. I mean, music is part of our soul, right?